There's a great comfort in that, knowing that someone loves you exactly for who you are. I grew up on a farm in a family of 12 children, 6 girls and 6 boys, and a lot of people had big families. People asked me if we were Catholic.
There's a rare comfort in knowing someone loves you just as you are. And Dolly Parton, the unshakable country legend, revealed just how vulnerable she could be, breaking down live on air in front of millions. Known for her charm and strength, Dolly's emotional moment left fans in shock. What caused America's sweetheart to cry on live TV? Was it a personal loss, a painful truth, or something no one saw coming? Stick around, because this story is still making waves. When you think of Dolly Parton, what comes to mind? Big blonde hair, rhinestone outfits, or that unforgettable voice? For decades, she's been a cultural icon, with timeless hits and a Hollywood career. But what truly sets Dolly apart is her strength, her kindness, and her refusal to let fame change her heart. Dolly's always been the picture of resilience. She faced hardships growing up in a poor Tennessee cabin, one of 12 children, but found richness in love and laughter. Music was her escape, and by 13, she performed at the Grand Ole Opry, knowing her destiny had just begun. Dolly quickly rose from being Porter Wagoner's sidekick to a solo powerhouse with hits like Jolene and 9 to 5. But she didn't stop at music. She became a Hollywood star, built Dollywood, and became a philanthropic force. Yet, even at the height of success, Dolly never lost the warmth that made her a beloved icon. What sets her apart? Even after becoming a global star, Dolly stayed grounded, using her platform to give back, pouring millions into causes like education and medical research. But when she broke down on live TV, it was clear that whatever happened was deeply personal. Dolly Parton isn't just a superstar, she's actively involved in changing lives. From building hospitals and homes to funding a COVID vaccine, she's always stayed true to her roots, never losing that signature Dolly energy, funny, flirty, and fearless. Despite her personal struggles, Dolly never lets the world see her sweat. She smiles through pain, lifts others up, and refuses to let life bring her down. That's why the moment she broke down in tears on live television hit so hard. Everyone could tell something powerful was happening, and when you hear why she cried, you'll understand why the world is still talking about it. A heartbreaking loss. Dolly Parton just experienced the most devastating loss of her life. Her beloved husband of nearly 60 years, Carl Dean, passed away, and it completely shattered her. In a world where celebrity marriages rarely last, Dolly and Carl were the exception. It all began in 1964, when 18-year-old Dolly moved to Nashville, wide-eyed and ready to conquer the world. She was standing outside a laundromat when 21-year-old Carl drove by in his white Chevy pickup and said, "You're going to get sunburned out here, little lady." Sparks flew instantly. Dolly didn't jump into his car right away, safety first, but they quickly formed a bond. Carl came back every day for a week, and when they finally went on their first date, Carl knew right away she was the one. "I knew the minute I saw her," he said. Dolly was more than just a rising star. Carl loved her, not the glitz and glam of fame. 2 years later, they married in a private ceremony with only her mother as a witness. Carl made it clear, he wanted no part in the spotlight. While Dolly became a global sensation, Carl kept a quiet, simple life, running his paving business. He supported her career, but he was happiest staying behind the scenes. Dolly once shared a sweet moment, saying, "We enjoy each other. We have date days, we travel in our RV, and have picnics by the river." Even though he avoided the spotlight, Carl found subtle ways to show his love. He'd sneak into Dollywood, buy his own ticket, and blend in with the crowd. Just another example of how he stayed humble and true to himself. While Dolly was out there shaking up the world, Carl was her quiet rock, always behind the scenes, never craving the spotlight. Dolly often gushed about how their personalities perfectly balanced. She was the star, and he was the grounded, private man who kept everything steady. But behind closed doors, things took a heartbreaking turn. Carl began struggling with Alzheimer's, a cruel illness that slowly stole his memories, including the ability to recognize the woman he had loved for decades. Imagine being married to someone for 60 years, only to have them forget who you are. That's the devastating reality Dolly faced. Though she never let the world see her pain, insiders say watching Carl fade away was unbearable for her. On March 3, 2025, Carl Dean passed away, leaving Dolly completely shattered. In a heartfelt post, Dolly shared, "Carl and I spent many wonderful years together. Words can't do justice to the love we shared for over 60 years. Thank you for your prayers and sympathy. He is in God's arms now, and I am okay with that. The outpouring of love was overwhelming. Reba McEntire, Carrie Underwood, Blake Shelton, and even Oprah sent their condolences, calling Carl and Dolly's love one of the greatest of all time. The Grand Ole Opry even paid tribute with a performance of I Will Always Love You, leaving the audience in tears. But here's the moment that truly shocked the world. While Dolly is known for her radiant smile, she recently revealed something unexpected: she's been hurting deeply. Despite the heartbreak, Dolly continues to shine through, showing the world her strength, even when she's suffering. Dolly Parton has faced scandals, but through it all, she's never let the world see her break. That was until Dollywood's season opening, when, despite the recent devastating loss of Carl, Dolly surprised her fans. The moment she stepped on stage, it was clear something was different. Her voice shook, her eyes filled with tears, and she said, "I need to laugh. I need some fun. I've been crying enough the last week or two." She went on to talk about how much she missed Carl, saying, "I've been with him 60 years, so I'm going to have to relearn some of the things we did, but I'll always keep him close." It was a rare and emotional moment that stunned fans who had never seen Dolly so vulnerable. In several interviews after Carl's passing, Dolly opened up about her heartbreak, saying, "It's a hole in my heart, but we'll fill it with good stuff, and he'll always be with me." And when she dedicated I Will Always Love You to him, there wasn't a dry eye in the room. The song, originally written for her former business partner, Porter Wagoner, became a symbol of her love for Carl. It's clear, Dolly's love story with Carl was rare and deep. But there's another moment that left people in tears, when Dolly made Stephen Colbert cry on The Late Show. We're used to Dolly's bubbly persona, but on October 2020, she opened up about her mom's influence on her music. When Stephen asked her about her top 3 songs, Dolly chose Coat of Many Colors and began talking about how her mother, Avi Lee, stitched her a coat out of rags. Then, to everyone's surprise, Dolly sang Bury Me Beneath the Willow, a folk song that has always held emotional weight for her. The moment was raw. As Dolly sang, the weight of her words hit her, and Stephen Colbert couldn't hold back his tears. Watching the tough, funny host become so vulnerable was a testament to how deeply Dolly's emotion resonated. Dolly's bond with her mother was the foundation of her success. Avi Lee wasn't just a parent, but a mentor who nurtured Dolly's love for music, encouraging her to dream big. It was clear that on The Late Show, Dolly was paying tribute to her mother, channeling her grief into something beautiful that spoke to everyone's heart. Dolly Parton's strength is legendary, but behind the smile and the songs, she's faced immense personal loss. We've seen her sing and entertain millions, but in a raw moment on The Late Show, Dolly revealed a different side of herself. Singing Bury Me Beneath the Willow in tribute to her late mother, Dolly was no longer the entertainer, she was simply a daughter missing her mom. The emotion in her voice was palpable, and even Stephen Colbert, usually the one making people laugh, was moved to tears. It was a deeply personal, powerful moment. But this wasn't the only heart-wrenching loss Dolly has endured. Over the years, she's had to say goodbye to several siblings, and each loss has taken a toll on her. Dolly grew up in a small cabin in Tennessee with 11 brothers and sisters, and despite her fame, she's always kept them close. When her brother Floyd passed away in December 2018, it shattered her. Floyd wasn't just her brother, he was her songwriting soulmate. He contributed to some of Dolly's biggest hits, like Rockin' Years. Losing him was like losing a part of herself. Then, in January 2021, Dolly lost her brother Randy to cancer. Randy, unlike Floyd, had always been in the spotlight alongside Dolly. He was a gifted singer and musician who performed with her on stage and even recorded a duet, You Are My Christmas, which became one of his last songs. Dolly shared the news of his passing with deep sorrow, expressing her faith in knowing he was now in a better place. Dolly's grief didn't stop there. She later lost another brother, David, though she's kept details private. Yet, despite these overwhelming losses, Dolly keeps going. Most people would crumble under such pain, but Dolly turns her heartbreak into music, her strength into inspiration, and her loss into a legacy of love and resilience. Dolly Parton's legacy is unmatched in the entertainment world. She's not just a country music icon, she's the country music icon. With over 3,000 songs written, 100 million records sold, and countless awards, Dolly has achieved what few can even dream of. But what sets her apart is how she did it, on her own terms. Her heart is what truly makes her stand out. Dolly gives back in meaningful ways, with a generosity that's unmatched in the industry. Dolly Parton has spent decades giving back without seeking attention or accolades. Her most notable project is the Imagination Library, which she started in 1995 to provide free books to children around the world. To date, more than 200 million books have been donated. Dolly's generosity extends beyond education. When wildfires ravaged Tennessee, she personally donated funds to help families rebuild their homes. She also played a key role in funding research that led to the development of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. And yet, she never boasts about any of it. She just does the work. In today's culture, where celebrities are often caught in scandals or controversies, Dolly has managed to remain untouchable. She's never been cancelled, stays out of drama, and never speaks ill of others. She's universally beloved. Republicans, Democrats, young and old alike all love Dolly. Her secret: she lives by the simple rule to be kind, work hard, and never take yourself too seriously. After over 60 years in the business, Dolly Parton is still at the top of her game. She continues to make music, run a thriving empire, give back, and solidify her place in history. So, what's your favorite Dolly song? Share it in the comments, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the next one for more updates.